Hey guys, today we're going to look at area and circumference word problems. We're going to look at how they might look on our unit test as well as possibly the STAR test. So let's get to it. First thing I want to go over is the formulas for circumference and area, which are the two, or actually three formulas we're going to be using today. Remember, circumference has two formulas we can use. It is C equals 2 pi r, and that's what we use when they give us the radius, but sometimes they give us the diameter, and for that one we're going to use C equals pi d. Easy enough. If they give you the radius, use the one with the r in it. If they give you the diameter, use the one with the d in it. Now, our area is different. We're going to use the same one every single time, and it is A equals pi r squared. And that means if they give us a diameter, we're going to have to divide it by 2 to get our radius. And remember that this 2 right here is actually squared, and so you have to multiply it by itself. It does not mean multiply by 2. Okay, so the first example I'm going to do is number 3 on page 191. So make sure you're looking at that one. We are going to do this one, and mine's just a little bit different than yours, but that's okay. Janelle wants to replace the glass in her mirror. She can buy glass for 89 cents per square inch. If the price includes tax, how much would she pay to the nearest penny? So she, say, broke her glass, and it's her favorite mirror, so she doesn't want to throw it away. She wants to get some more glass. Well, if you think about a mirror, and when you're looking at it, it is a whole piece, and it's solid, and it covers up the wall behind it. And that keyword there is covers. And so since it covers something, we know it's going to be area. And the area of the circle is area equals pi r squared. Well, the first problem I see with that is that they give me the diameter because this goes all the way across. And now when it goes all the way across like that, I need to cut it in half. So half of 18 is going to be 9 inches. So that means my radius is going to be 9. Now, when I plug that into the problem, I'm going to do 3.14 times 9 for my radius, and that's going to be squared. Now, I know that 9 squared is 9 times 9, which equals 81. So I'm going to have to multiply 3.14 times 81. So I'm going to come over here, 3.14 times 81. Now, because we're going to cut it short on time, I'm going to go ahead and multiply this for you, and it's 254 and 34 hundredths, okay? And once you do that, that's how much area it is. So that's my area, but is that my answer for the problem? Not really, because she doesn't care what the area is. She just has to tell that to the guy so he can tell her how much it's going to cost her to replace the glass in there. Now, the guy at the store told her it's going to be 89 cents per square inch. So every single one of these inches, she's going to have to do that 89 cents for each one. Well, instead of adding 89 cents at 254 times, I'm going to go ahead and multiply that. So I'm going to take my 254.34 and multiply it by my 89 cents. Well, once you do that, you're going to get this crazy long number, and it's going to look like this. And you're like, holy crap, that's a lot of money. But the one thing we have to be careful about is, look here. You have 2 decimal places on top, 2 decimal places on bottom. And since I hopped 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to have to do the same thing on bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That is going to give me $226.30. I had to figure out what it's going to be because it wants it to the nearest penny. So here's my penny spot. I go by 1 behind it. 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. Well, since it's a 2, I'm going to let that 6 rest. And so she is going to have to pay $226.36 for her mirror to be fixed. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is number 2 on page 192. And I went ahead and shortened my question just so I have enough room to work on here. And so if it's telling me that the rectangle has a length of 21 inches and each circle is congruent. Well, and it wants to know the area of one circle. Now, if it tells me it has a length of 21 inches, that means from here all the way over here is 21 inches. Okay? Now, if I look at these circles super carefully, I can see that I can cut it here because that's where they touch, and I can cut it here where that can touch. If you look, that's going to make each one of these equal. So from here to here is the same from here to here, which is the same from here to here. What does that look like in those circles? Well, it kind of looks like the diameter, but I'm still stuck. I know these circles are congruent, so that means this is the same, this is the same, and this is the same. But they all have to add up to equal 21. So, what times 3 equals 21? Well, you should be telling me 7, because 7 times 3 is 21. Now, the only problem with that is it wants to know the area. Well, area requires me to have the radius, and all they've given me is the diameter equals 7. But I can easily figure out my radius. I just have to divide that by 2. So my radius is going to be 3.5. So let's figure out the area of our circles. If I go ahead and set up my 3-step method, I'm going to start off with my area equals pi r squared. And if you look at your answer choices on here, they're all in terms of pi. So this actually makes my life a little bit easier. So instead of putting 3.14, I just get to leave my pi sign. But I still have to multiply it by 3.5 squared. Well, I don't know what 3.5 squared is, so I'm going to have to come over here and do 3.5 times 3.5. And when you multiply those together, you're going to get 12.25. And since I can leave it in terms of pi, I can actually stop. So I can say 12.25 and then just put my pi sign behind it. And what answer choice does that look like? Well, if you look closely, it looks like J. So that one, even though it looks crazy, if you take the information given and break it down into steps, it's really not that bad. Okay, so the last one we're going to look at is number 3 on page 192. And it says, a tire from Karen's car is shown below. What is the closest distance traveled in feet after 3 full rotations of the tire? So I have this tire. Don't hate on it. I know it's not the greatest drawing, but we're going to go with it. And so I have this tire, and it's going to rotate 3 full times. Okay, so think about that. When you roll a tire, does the whole thing touch? I mean, like even this middle part, like the rim, does it touch the ground? Well, I sincerely hope not, or we got some troubles, okay? If you think about it, only this one little edge right here, as it goes around, just the edge of the circle touches. Well, if I just go around the edge of the circle, what am I talking about? Am I talking about area or circumference? Well, I'm talking about circumference. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to set up my 3-step method, and I'm going to use circumference. But remember, there's actually 2 formulas for circumference. Now, since it's talking about all the way across for 28 inches, I'm going to use the one with the diameter in it. So C equals pi times D. And for pi, I'm just going to use 3.14, and it tells me my diameter is 28. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to have to multiply 3.14 times 28. And once you do that, you are going to get 87.92, which isn't too bad. That's my circumference for one time around. But does it want one time around? No, it wants our 3 full rotations. So I'm going to have to take that and say, I need my 3 circumferences. So I take that and multiply by 3, and that gives me 263.76 inches. So my circumference for 3 is 263.776. Now, look at your answer choices. Is that close to any of them? Well, it's kind of close to D, but that says feet. What is mine in? It's in inches. Remember, up here where it said in feet after 3 full rotations, well, I'm still in inches, and that's a problem. So you're going to have to think about how many inches are in a foot, and that's a while back, but we know that 12 inches equal 1 foot. So if for every one of these 12, I'm going to get 1 foot, how can I break that up into pieces of 12? Well, if I want to break something up into pieces, I'm going to divide it into pieces. So I'm going to take my 263.76 and divide it by 12. Now, I'm not going to do that because that's going to take forever long. But once you divide that, it's going to give you 21.98 feet. And if you look, that is super, 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 super close to the 22 feet. That is answer B. So I'm going to go with answer choice B. Before I let you get started on your own, I want you to look at number 2 on page 193. It says measure the radius to figure out how many feet you're going to use it as. Well, I measured it and it gave me 3 centimeters, and it says for every centimeter it equals 1 foot. So go ahead and right beside it write 3 feet. And you're going to use that 3 feet to solve. If you will go ahead and get started, we are doing page 192 and 193. That's only 8 problems, and I've already done 2 of them for you. So go ahead, you may work with a partner and get started.